That day, a woman was walking down the street, holding her young daughter's hand. January 15th, 1947, Los Angeles, California. It was an ordinary morning, nothing unusual, nothing strange, until she noticed something lying in the middle of the road. At first, she thought it was a mannequin, something discarded, something out of place. But as she stepped closer, her feet suddenly stopped. It wasn't moving. It wasn't breathing. And whatever it was, this was no accident. From that moment on, Los Angeles would never forget what happened that day. The morning of January 15th, 1947. The one who found it, Betty Bersinger. She was walking with her daughter, just like any other day. The location, an empty lot near Leimert Park, Los Angeles. What caught her eye was something pale lying on the ground. At first, she thought it was a mannequin because it didn't look real, not at all. But when she got closer, she realized it was a human body. She immediately called the police. When officers arrived, they were stunned. Her name? Elizabeth Short. She was 22 years old. The media gave her a name, the Black Dahlia. The name came from the dark clothes she often wore and a film that was popular at the time. But there was something strange about that. That name did not reflect her real life at all. Behind that dramatic nickname was someone who had lived a lonely, unstable life. And yet, that name became something else. It became the name of the case itself. What investigators saw was not ordinary. Even experienced officers initially mistook it for a mannequin. That's how unreal the scene looked. The area was strangely clean, and the body looked as if it had been placed there deliberately. What drew attention was her face. The expression was not natural. It looked as if it had been intentionally shaped. Some investigators later said it didn't look human. There were also signs that something had been done to her face, something difficult to explain. The autopsy only deepened the mystery. The medical examiner reported unusual physical findings that were not typically seen. Inside the body, there were also signs that did not match a normal case. Some investigators believed she may have been held somewhere under complete control for an extended period of time. This was not just a crime. The position of the body, the condition, the lack of evidence, everything felt intentional. This wasn't just about taking a life. The body was arranged, almost as if it were meant to be seen. This wasn't random. It was a message, something meant for the world to witness. Investigators began to think this wasn't hidden. It was meant to be found. Elizabeth Short, she dreamed of becoming an actress. Hollywood. That was where she hoped to start a new life. But reality was different. She had no steady job. She moved from place to place, staying with different people. Her life was unstable. And yet, no one could explain how it ended this way. The last confirmed sighting, January 9th, 1947. After that, she disappeared. For 6 days, no one knew where she was, who she was with, what happened. And when she was found, there were signs that she had been held somewhere for a long time. Those 6 days remain the biggest mystery, the longest and most unknown part of this case. As the investigation began, police started looking into the people around her, those she had known, those she had stayed with, and those who had seen her last. Among them, the last known person to see her alive, Robert Manley. He was a salesman. On January 9th, 1947, he dropped her off at a hotel in Los Angeles. After that, he claimed he never saw her again. Police checked his alibi, and it held. But still, he remained the last person to have seen her, and after that day, no one did. Then, another discovery was made. A black handbag believed to belong to her, and a single red shoe. They were found in a trash can not far from the scene, but even that led nowhere. A few days after the case became public, something strange arrived. Packages sent to the police and newspapers. The sender claimed to be the Black Dahlia Avenger. Inside were her personal belongings and a letter. The letter was made from cut-out newspaper letters. Anonymous, deliberate. The tone was mocking, as if someone was watching, playing with the investigation. And at the end, a phrase appeared. The Black Dahlia Avenger. It didn't feel like a joke. It felt like justification. More letters followed, but most were later revealed to be copycats. The real sender never confirmed. Some of those letters were never released to the public, and even now, no one knows why. Over time, many suspects emerged. Among them, one name stood out: George Hodel, a doctor, one of the most widely suspected individuals in the case. Why? Because some believed the condition of the body required specialized knowledge, something not easily done without training. But there was more. His son, Steve Hodel, was a former detective. Not just speculation, but someone who understood investigations. He spent years studying the case, and eventually he came to a conclusion that his own father could have been responsible. He even published a book detailing his findings. The theory gained attention, but it was never officially proven. There were other theories too. Some suspected her own family, especially her father, Cleo Short, described by some as unstable, unpredictable. There were also claims that he was skilled with tools. Suspicion grew, but no evidence was ever found. He was cleared. Still, the theory never fully disappeared. Police used every method available. Thousands of tips poured in. Some were witnesses. Some claimed they were the killer. But when investigated, most were false. Stories, exaggerations, people seeking attention. The investigation began to drift. More officers were assigned. The search expanded. Every possibility was considered. But no solid lead ever emerged. The scene had been too clean, too controlled. What remained felt intentional. Everything else was gone. Even within the police, the thought began to form. This wasn't random. This was planned. And as time passed, the case slipped further away. Was this case never solved? There wasn't just one answer. First, the scene itself. Too clean, too deliberate. Second, no reliable witness. Her final movements completely unknown. And third, the most important, the killer left nothing behind. At the time, technology wasn't advanced enough to uncover what we can today. So the case remained built on theories, possibilities. As time passed, evidence disappeared, memories faded, and slowly, the case began to disappear from reality. But this story never truly ended. People remembered. Through books, through documentaries, through films, the story kept returning. And some still say, this case is not over. New theories, new suspects. Even now, it continues. as if something refuses to be revealed, or as if something is still hidden. 1947, Los Angeles. A woman disappeared, and days later, she was found, but the truth never appeared. Where was she during those 6 days? What happened in that time? And was it really just one person? Even now, this case remains unsolved. Maybe somewhere beyond what we know, the truth is still hidden, and perhaps that person is still out there, living as if nothing ever happened. If this story left you wondering, the next one is waiting for you. Subscribe and stay with us.